Shalom, Christ.
Shalom.
Shalom, Most High in Christ. Happy Sabbath. Coming to you live again from One Nation Israelite School. Your host with the most, teacher Judea here at One Nation Israelite School, and with me
is Warrior St. John.
All right. So we'll be with you in a second. Give us a second. We'll be starting up. Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. What the hell do you think? Oh. So it looked familiar. You just didn't touch me so long. You like my time on that beat? That's how we damn. You go like, yeah, man. Shit, man. All right, shalom, Most High in Christ. Once again, welcome to One Nation Israelite School. I'm your host with the most, teacher Judea.
And I'm Warrior St. John.
Welcome to One Nation Israelite School and happy Sabbath. All right, we got some things that's going on. We can just randomly go on real quick. I wanted you to tell them about the thing that happened. This was supposed to be kicking off this weekend.
All right, so Trump finally getting his way. Let's put it like that. It's gonna be a raid going on. He say starting Sunday. It's gonna be a raid going on. They coming to get people out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But you know about how he They're talking about getting rid of the immigrants and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, basically, it already started up, but he's gonna be coming to major cities now. He said starting Sunday. ICE is gonna be down here doing their thing. Not ISIS, ICE. I'm tripping.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, the Donald Trump movement, they want to know, of course, according to what our breakdown of what I would give would be. But when I look at it, I'm just like, okay, in the Donald Trump situation, now we all know that who's the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. So we know Esau's the devil that the Bible speaks of, and we know that by him, nothing that he does is going to be new.
Right.
Going out sweeping, splitting families, and all that type of stuff that's been done to us since the beginning of time, or the beginning of our fall. Down, what that tells you is that because I was hearing it right, like you were saying, I think it's supposed to be as close as Miami.
Yep.
Starting there. So what do you think happens? Do people hear you going to raid Miami first? What do you think they do? You think they're gonna sit in place and wait?
Oh no.
No, they're gonna run. They're gonna scatter. So what do you think is gonna have to happen? You can't just go to Miami. You have to sweep all the way up through them. Why? Because as you go up, they go up. The further you run up, the further they keep running to stay away from you. You know what I'm saying? So eventually he's got to sweep through all. They're gonna have to sweep through Florida and then go to the next place. So with that being said, we got to get boots on the ground. We should have boots on the ground. We should be out on the streets teaching, prophesying, and exposing this devil and his wicked acts of what he's going to do. What he's going to do now. Understand, us going out there because he's attacking who? He wants to attack the Mexicans and all that stuff like that. Am I telling y'all we need to go out there and put our foot down and fight for our brothers? No. Why? Because everybody knows pretty much where I stand. And if you hear you pretty much saying you, without, even if you don't come right out and say I agree, you agreeing that Hispanics are not our people. So I'm not saying we need to go to the streets to fight for them. But why should we be on the streets? Because who the hell is he to give the rights and the liberties of where people can stay? Let's go to Michael 2 and 2. Right.
Michael 2 and 2.
No, I ain't keep passing. Start at 1.
Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
You're right. So woe to them that devise iniquity. They plan and scheme of sin, and then they work those same evils upon their beds. You know what I'm saying? We know that's the so-called white man.
When the morning is light, they practice it.
They practice the evil and all the things that they plotted upon their bed. Like this being a raid, a lot of people get it twisted. You would sit here and think, oh, this just popped out the blue. No, this is a council that's been going. You know what I'm saying? He just jump out of the woodworks all of a sudden. Now he want to attack Mexicans or whatever the case may be. Man, listen, man. I understand the attack is on the Israelites, man. They pushed everybody else out the bridge. They bored you in. Man, straight up. Let's just give it to them like it is. When you sit here and you thinking about them attacking the Mexicans, I'm not telling y'all to go out and stand for the Hispanics, because tell me what Hispanic has stood for you when you get gunned down the streets. You know what I'm saying? When you get thrown up in the prisons and beat down and all that, what Hispanic group is standing up saying, oh, we need to fight for them? You don't see not one of them, but here it is. You Negroes, you get the Bible, you want to curse the Christian church out and say they trying to save and include everybody. We can't never have none to ourselves. Well, you're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You including everybody. No, what has the white man ever done to help the black people to make up for what he did? Well, what the hell has the Hispanics done? Last time I checked here, we in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
I see you niggas marking. They was just doing that jump this morning, walking down here, marching, screaming something about Pine Hills, put down the guns.
Over.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, man? We all keep forgetting. This is one thing that's gonna fix us. And that's us undestroying our destroyed people and bringing them back to God's law.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. Let's go back here. Read it again.
Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it.
Right. That's the so-called white man. And the plots and everything, the things that they're devising upon their bed is the things to destroy you, to keep you lost, to keep you destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's practicing upon. That's what he's plotting out upon his bed. How can he have you affected? Not tomorrow, but the next 10 years. And when the light comes, they practice it. Right. The things that they plotted on, they put that shit into action. Go ahead.
Because it is in the power of their hands.
Right, because they got the power to do so. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And they covet fields.
They do what?
Covet fields.
They covet fields. This land that they call America was a coveted land. It was a land that was already inhabited, and they saw it and they wanted it. Mm-hmm. And they wanted it so much that they said, to hell with any. They will break the very laws today that they will sit you in a prison and take the rest of your life from. They broke those very laws to build and establish this here today. Predicated off the backs of you, which was also what? Another plot. Well, we want to steal the land, but after we steal it, how are we going to build it and fix it to where it's livable? All right. I know what we can do. Let's make a plot and go get the niggas over there. Mm-hmm. So strip them from everything, beat them, put them to a lower state, keep them in sin, and make them do the work, and we'll benefit from the labors. Who's going to stop us? No, there's no authority over us. Okay. It's in my hands to do exactly what I practice. All right. Go ahead.
And take them by violence.
And they take them by violence, which is what they did. Came over here, slaughtered, killed, and murdered. Which is the so-called white man has no sense of how to deal with everyday basis. He has no logic. He has no understanding. He has no logic. He has no understanding. He has no way of. He don't have a. I'm missing the word. It won't pop up in my head. But basically, he has no way of dealing with issues. He has no soul. He got no conscience.
Yeah.
He has no way of dealing with anything. His only answer to deal with anything is to kill you and take it. He covered fields and he take them by violence.
And houses, and take them away. Mm-hmm. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Right, because not only do they steal the land from the people. Let's think about our field. They coveted Jerusalem. They coveted Israel. They took it by violence. Mm-hmm. Beat, rape, robbed, shipped us over here, had us building up a whole other part of the country. So people had been building that, and then guess what? Not only did they come and take our land, but they learned our heritage, why we did it, then took it and called it their own and oppressed us with it.
Right. That shit crazy.
We don't.
Therefore, thus says the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go heartily, for this time is evil.
No, we can stop there. I was about to drown into this, but so here we read about the people. The same thing we read how they covered in fields. It's the same thing. How they devise iniquity and evil upon their bed, and then when the morning comes, they practice it. Mm-hmm. The same plot they had then, it's the same plot they have now. There's nothing changing. There's nothing changing. When you come to dealing with the wickedness of Esau, he's always been an advocate to break up families.
Right.
I don't mean him none. He's always been the man to come and take your land and take your nationality and your heritage and say he is who you are. But the main plot of the so-called white man, what we got to remember is, what did all nations agree in with the white man to do? To destroy Israel. So no matter what you see going, our people, what they do is they'll see something happening to another nation. They'll say, see, that's a terrible thing happening. They Israel, the curses is following them. Now understanding that, no, bad things do just happen, right? It ain't just because something happened to this person don't make them Israel now. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody that went into slavery got to be Israel.
Right.
Well, damn, what about the nations that were fighting against each other that wasn't fighting Israel?
What about the thing they do in Iraq and shit like that?
So that's the thing. That's what you got to realize with a lot of these Israelites too. When they want to give you these breakdowns, they're gonna tell you anytime you see, oh, see what's going on over there, they gotta be Israel. So see, but y'all brothers talking about Israel on the black. All right. Listen, bad things happen. Nobody said just because the curses is there that every time something bad happened, that person had to be Israel too. No, that's not the case. The reason I'm saying all of this is to bring you back to one point. Because Donald Trump is attacking the immigrants, don't get it twisted. That is a side plot to make you think, see, they ain't just targeting us. Mm-hmm. When the whole plot of the so-called white man, when you read the book, what is his number one plot? What is his number one thing? What is the number one thing he wants the most?
To destroy us.
To destroy Israel and to keep Israel from remembering that they are the chosen people and that they are Israel.
Yeah.
So if that's his only plot, then everything that you see on the side and on the outskirts, that stop getting it twisted and think that ain't got nothing to do with you. In other words, that has nothing to do with you. The plot is only to destroy Israel. All that stuff that happens on the side, that's just stuff that happens on the side.
Right.
Mm-hmm. To prove a point. So I took over that, and that's how they came up with the siege. I'm gonna enslave y'all, make y'all soldiers and shit, and we gonna go siege Israel. That's how Rome played it, man. They enslaved their own people. Right.
All right. Even when you talk about the name of that whole empire, is the Greco-Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. Well, you do know that they enslaved the Greeks, right? They just didn't destroy them. That's why they called them Grecos.
They need them for that purpose. They need it.
So if that's the case, what I'm trying to get our people to understand is every time you hear about a plot going on, don't get misconstrued and don't think that because all of a sudden, oh, he's going after Hispanics, that all of a sudden you black people see it ain't just us. No, that's just side. You know how when you got a major job, sometimes you got to knock out little side tasks to get to the major job. Mm-hmm. That's all that is. That's just like when you making movies. I'm gonna say this is the Bible and this is life. I'm gonna get it to you in a movie scenery now. You know what I'm saying? This should clear it up for you. When you watch a movie, let's say we watching a movie about the killer. He going around killing people. All right, so one morning he gets up and he goes in the kitchen and he fixes him a cup of coffee before he goes out and kill. But it showed a scene where he at home like a normal person, fix him a cup of coffee, got a robe on, and he sit down and then go to the next scene. That scene don't really have nothing to do with the movie. It's just a filler. Same thing with all the other nations. They don't really have nothing to do with this movie. They just fillers. The whole plot is, can he destroy you or can you get out before he destroy you? Mm-hmm.
Using that to distract y'all black dads.
He put you in the damn cup, basically. Now, we just want to see, can you get out the cup before he go and get the acid that he planning on pouring in the cup to kill everything that's in it.
Right.
That's the Bible. That's the plot of the so-called white man. Anything else outside of that is just a filler. Don't get distracted with it. Meantime, your job is to go out and rebuke them and tell them how the hell are you going to tell people who can live where and where they can't live and who can be here and who can't be there. You don't have the right to do so. Why? Because scriptures say that who is supposed to divide the heathen's portion? Let's go to Psalms. Remember, this whole world is us. This us. This us. All right, we're going to Psalms chapter 2. All right. Psalms chapter 2, let's get verse 1.
Psalms chapter 2 and verse 1. Psalms chapter 2 and verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Right. Why do the heathens rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Go ahead. Let me get some.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying.
Right. The kings of the earth. I forget why I put the precept up.
I ain't put the rest of it.
You could use Psalms 83. Go to Psalms 83 real quick. You can use that. That's not the one that I'm looking for, but you can use it because it's saying the same. Psalms 83 and get verse. Start at 2.
All right. Psalms 83 and verse 2. Psalms 83 and verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Right. So now when it says thine enemies, meaning plural, have made a tumult that they were going to conspire against the hidden ones, which is you Israelites. The whole plot, the Bible tells you exactly what the plot was. That what? The name of Israel will be where?
Cut off.
Read the end of 4.
All right. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel will be no more remembrance. Verse 5, last.
For they have consulted together.
They did what?
Consulted together.
They did what?
Consulted together.
Now go back. Go back. So it says they consulted together, saying the same thing where? Verse 2 in Psalms again.
Psalms chapter 2 and verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
All right. So now let's go ahead and jump down to verse 6. Because I went there to show you the whole plot, just so you never get it twisted. Don't get it mistaken. Don't ever get it twisted. The whole plot is to destroy you. That's the whole purpose of the way that the world is going, the whole course of the world right now, the way that it's set and is going, the plot of it is to destroy you. That's the only focus.
Right.
All right. So it says that they conspired together. So now we read the kings of the earth together took counsel and all that. Same thing when it says they were confederate together in Psalms 83. All right. So now when we jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
To do what?
And I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
What is that talking about? The scripture's telling you that the heathens are for a possession. It's for possession. That's what the heathen are for, right? And then after that, well, when you get to finish the verse, go ahead.
All right. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
And the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. So once again, now, if the uttermost parts of the world is for your possession, and so is the heathens, how the hell do they direct who stays where and who stays where?
Right.
And who can be here and who can be there?
Right.
Where we going?
Psalms chapter 111 and verse 6. Psalms chapter 111 and verse 6. He hath showed his people the power of his works, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen.
Same thing. He's saying that I showed y'all my power, so it's gonna be the same thing. when he put us back in rulership, we're gonna be in power again. He's gonna show his mighty power by destroying the heathen, and they're gonna be in our hands of this time.
Second Ezra.
So, yeah.
Second Ezra.
Second Ezra chapter 6. Well, as a fact, hold on. Before we get that one, states that we're gonna stay in Second Ezra.
All right.
Get 7 and 10 first.
Second Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 10. Second Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 10. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me.
Then said the Lord unto me,
even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world.
There it is. Because for their sakes I made the world. So guess what? The whole reason the world exists is because you exist. Therefore, once again, how is it that some other man, that's why it's telling you that you get a live example right now of how he oppressed you in your own house, how he oppressed a man in his own house. This whole damn earth is yours.
Right.
And yet he ruling it.
Right.
Yet he telling you where you can and can't go. Charge up in the people's houses, tell you this. How did he gonna tell you what rights you have on the earth and then violate them?
Right.
Push up in your house, rule over you, tell you, man. That's why I tell you. Not this way. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't play games on this side.
Nah, whatever come with it. I'm telling you. All right. So let's move on. Let's deal with some questions now. Got a couple questions in the inbox. Got a couple questions on the inbox. Let's deal with it. One of them was brother down in Texas. Can we eat alligator? Now let you answer that.
Nah.
Can you eat alligators? Fuck no. No, you can't eat alligator, brother. I know why you asking that question because I'm from the South too. And yes, goddamn gator was delicious before I came into the truth.
No, what?
Listen. Hey, eating gator. I know some people online like, what the hell, gator? But dog, it before I came to the truth, I don't even. You know how you be like, it's good, but you don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to vex you, brother. Gator tail is good, but you cannot eat it. It's unlawful. It is unclean. Leave that shit alone. All right. Here's one. Oh yeah, this one was almost basically a class breakdown. This one here, it was supposed to be a debate. It was supposed to be a debate, but the brother had some stuff came up, so he couldn't do it with me today.
Yeah.
But I answered a question that he initially challenged us with. So the premise of the debate was going to be based around Adam and what basically his stance is Adam and Eve were the first and the only people that God created. He also said, if you go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 21, it proves clearly that God created people out of water because he created all living things out of the water. And then he also said that we lied. Well, he said that I'm a false prophet because I lied and said that the scriptures say that basically that I'm teaching against the scriptures clearly because the scriptures say that it was a literal snake that deceived Eve. And he also gave the verse that he wanted to read to prove it. And he actually put words in like the little bubble things so you can know that this is what he's pointing out. So let's read the verse that he's talking about. All right. Let's go to Genesis. It's talking about the curse. Genesis chapter 3. he want to read. He said this proves that. Well, let's read every scripture he put on here real quick first. Let's get Genesis chapter 3, right? Start at verse 1.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1.
Now remember, we reading this particular part just to prove for him to show on his grounds of understanding that this is a real snake. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. And now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
All right, so there he has the things. He said it says every beast of the field. So he put that in the bubbles. All right. So then he went down to Genesis chapter 3. Let's get the curse. Verse 14.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 14. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
He said, once again, the Most High said to the serpent that you are cursed above all cattle, clearly explaining this to be an animal. Read on.
And above every beast.
He said, and above every beast of the field. Once again, he got that in the things, saying that clearly it's talking about animal. Read
upon thy belly.
He said, oh, this is what he got heavy at. You went to lighten all type of stuff up there. Read it again.
Upon thy belly.
He said, now, upon thy belly. If this is the white man, why don't the white man crawl upon his belly? Good point. Read on. Read on.
Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat.
He said, do white people eat the dust? No, snakes do. Go ahead. Because what happens is if you study snakes put their tongue under the dirt. So actually, when they die, if you cut them open, they have dirt in them.
They want to drown too,
though. Yeah, some of them. So he went crazy. I'm talking, he went to highlight like hell in him.
And thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
All right. So now that's his premise on proving that the snake, that the serpent here is actually a literal serpent. Okay.
That don't mean they just gonna be again.
Huh?
So that just mean I don't see that. That means that they is not gonna be in ruler set no more.
Solomon, you got to remember the premise of his argument. His argument is that this ain't even people. This is a snake. So when you read this verse now. The reason why I didn't get upset with this is because when you read verse 14, you know how many people have actually said something about that verse, and they just some of y'all probably heard us read this and say, okay, why he don't ever explain that verse? You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to debate him, but we didn't get it on, brother. But I'm gonna go ahead and rebuttal some of this stuff. All right. So now let's go back to Genesis 1:21, where he started at. I was ready for him too, because he was set, he was ready to go, but he tried to get me yesterday, but I couldn't do it with him yesterday. All right, well, let's knock it out. Genesis 1:21.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 21. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good.
Now, what? All right. All right. So just so nobody say we cut out anything, read verse. Where's this? Start at 20.
All right. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 20.
Now 19 lets you know this was the fourth day, so we ain't skipping nothing now. Read on.
And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good.
Good.
And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth.
All right, so now, once again, it's another brother that I don't know what the hell you was reading, because it tell you clearly what came out of the water. Fowls, great whales, and all those type of things. You know what I'm saying? Those are what come from the water. It's not talking about people at all. Now, let's go to your second premise. Adam and Eve wasn't the first. Salakia. You said Adam and Eve was the first and the only people the Most High created, and everybody comes from. He said everybody comes from Adam and Eve. The scripture said that. Where's the scripture at? Give me. We got to get the scripture real quick that he referenced about her being the mother of all things, and then I'm going to explain why it would say that and how you're wrong. I mean, I explain how and why it would say that, and then I'll show you that you're wrong. Where is it at? She's the mother of all things.
What? 3 and 20.
Yeah, there it is. 3 and 20.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 20. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 20. And Adam called his wife named Eve because she was the mother of all living.
Right. So he called his wife Eve, the mother of all living. So first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and just prove to you real quick that they weren't the first and they weren't the only. When I do it, let's get into it. Let's get to the grease. All right. So we'll start at Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. Let's read verse 26.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image.
He said, let us make man in our image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what day is this? Read verse 23.
Verse 23. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day.
All right, so it's the fifth day. Now, on the fifth day, God said, let us make man in our image, right?
Mm-hmm.
In our likeness. Go ahead.
Yeah. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Right. So now we get a timestamp. We see exactly what day man was created. Go ahead. And then we see they was made upon the earth. Okay, read on.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
So he created male and female day 5. Watch this. Read on.
And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply.
Right. So he said, have babies. Go ahead.
And replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
All right. So now we're seeing that the Most High gave the order for something to be done on day 5. Jump down to verse 31 to prove if it was finished or did it get completed.
Verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day.
Bingo. So now we see that the male and female were already created. So now jump to Genesis chapter 2. And let's start at verse 2.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 2. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made.
All right. So now it says on the 7th day, God created, he had finished his work, all the work that he created, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we got to understand is it's not literally talking about, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that was the day. No. When it's going into days, it's talking about a dispensation of time. Let's prove that. Give me Peter's 3 and 8.
first.
Yeah.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8.
Second Peter. Go ahead.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
So one day with the Lord is like what?
1,000 years.
Okay, so now it's telling you, now you're getting a dispensation of time. It's not saying that it's literally 1,000 years, it's letting you know it's a long period of time. So from day 5 or day 6, it could have been another 1,000, 2,000 years before you got to day 7.
Right.
On the Most High's timing. So now what we're gonna do is let's go back to Genesis chapter 2, and let's go ahead and jump down to verse 7.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7.
Now what we finna do is we're about to start kicking Christianity in the nuts. All right, we finna go precept galore.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
So he formed man of the dust of the ground. The dust here is not talking like he picked up dust and wrote it together and made a man. The dust is talking about he picked him up from a lower state. This man was in a lower state. Why? Because in day 5, he created man and woman. That's all it said. He created man and woman. All right. Then day 7, it says he created Adam, right? He created a man from the dust of the ground. Then what happened?
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
He did what?
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
So when he formed this man from the dust of the ground, he breathed into him the breath of life. Go to Esdras.
Go ahead, 5. It ain't 3 and 5.
Or what?
Second Ezra. Second Ezra chapter 3 and verse 5. Second Ezra chapter 3 and verse 5. And start at 5. Yeah. 4.
No, just go ahead and get 5.
All right. Second Ezra chapter 3 and verse 5. And gave us a body unto Adam without soul.
So he gave a body to Adam without a soul. Now that's the same thing that you read in Genesis, believe it or not. He created a nation. He created people, male and female. It didn't say nothing about them coming to life. Why? Because you're gonna see there's a difference between the two. So they were, when he created them, they weren't just laying there. They were actually living as if in the state that we speak, and they were living, but they weren't actually alive. Here's what you find out. Read it again.
Second Ezra chapter 3 and verse 5. And gave us a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thy hands, and did breathe into him the breath of life.
And then he breathed into him the breath of life.
And he was made living before thee.
And he was made living before thee. So basically, we're saying he went from a dead state to a live state. How? The Most High breathed life into him. Well, what is the life? You can get what? Proverbs 7 and 2. You can go to Baruch 4 and 3. Whichever one you want.
Oh, so go there.
Whichever one you want.
Oh, cool. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 2. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 2. And he reads, keep my commandments and live.
So when he breathed the breath of life into him, he breathed God's laws and commandments. What it's basically saying is saying to you is that, guess what? When Adam and Eve created, they were already the Genesis, they were already living by then. When you read about in verse Genesis 2, when he breathed into his life, his nose and breath of life, Adam and Eve Adam was already living. He was already living. The Most High just decided to choose him out of the people he had already created and told him how to live. That was the difference. Right? So when we go back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Right.
And man became a living soul.
All right. So now we got in Genesis, we read day 5, he created male and female. Day 7, we see he chose out Adam. He gave him a wife, which is Eve. Now, to smash it all again, we would have to do what? Prove that just before we get to even anything that's even difficult to be understood, you jump down to Genesis chapter 4. Genesis chapter 4, let's read verse 15. Now, what happens? Well, we're gonna read at 16. What happens is we talking about Adam and Eve, his sons, Cain and Abel. When you think about it, if Adam and Eve are the only people there, and right now the only thing they have is 2 sons, then how could this take place? What happens is what happened? Cain killed Abel. So after Cain killed Abel, the Most High put punishments on Cain and kicked him out of the garden. And this is what happened. Verse 16.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 16. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod.
So he went to a land called Nod. Well, why is this place already that he went to already have a name if there's nobody there? Read on.
On the east of Eden.
So it's on the east of Eden. Now watch this, jump up to 14. This is one of the curses. This is something that Cain was saying to the Most High when he was getting his judgments. Verse 14.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive.
Now, what the hell is a fugitive? Someone that's running from their crime. They commit a crime and they running from the law. They running from the justice of the crime that they committed. That's a fugitive. Well, how the hell is he going to do that if Adam and Eve are the only people on the earth now?
Right.
Who's he running from? How's he going to be a fugitive?
Right.
You know?
And a
what?
And a vagabond in the earth.
A vagabond. Someone don't have a homeland. He goes around stealing everybody else's land, stealing their nationality. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
What the hell is he talking about? Everyone that findeth me shall slay me. If his mom and his dad is the only one on earth. What do you think? Everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Right. So
how the hell he gonna be? How? Adam and Eve, the only people who was created, remember?
Right.
Now, let me give you another piece. Before we move, right? Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. And Cain knew his wife.
And what?
And Cain knew his wife.
Where the hell his wife come from? Where the hell is these mystery just popping up at?
Right.
Oh God! Now the Most High can. Yeah, I heard that too. That he had sex with his sister. I said, so the Most High now condoning incest. Now he just got mad at him for not bringing up the right sacrifice, but now it's okay for you to sleep with your sister.
Right.
You speak. Right, and I'm saying, where's the sister? Why she ain't mentioned in here? That's a good question.
Had 4 children and those
So
two.
so if that's the case, we clearly seeing something here. Couldn't have been alone. They couldn't have been all the people created. Now, I'm trying to figure out which way should I do. Should I deal with meat or should I just keep jabbing and go in? All right, I'll do it like this. Let's go to Ezekiel. So now let's understand the garden. All right, hold on. First, I keep saying, let me get you to get something real quick. All right. Because we in the midst of a garden, right? And then it's talking about a tree. So let's read 2 verses real quick. Get Genesis chapter 2, verse 15.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 15. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
All right, so now you get a commandment not to eat of a certain tree. You know what I'm saying? Now, this here is just basically going into what it's explaining to you. I want here to get a little order. I'm finna mess around a little bit. All right, so now let's go back to Genesis chapter 3 and let's read verse 3.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
All right. So now the tree represents, when it says knowing about good and evil, what is going on is it's basically it's a thing that the Most High didn't want you to know. He didn't want you to know evil. You're only supposed to know good. It's certain, like for me, you may have children. You tell them, don't get to know the bad side of me. You only want to know the good side. You only want to know the person that says do this and you do it.
Right.
You only want to know the person that says don't do this and you don't do it. You don't want to get to know the person that what happens if you just so happen to do what they said not to do. You know what I'm saying? So watch this. Now remember who's saying this to Eve and who she's talking to. She's talking to the serpent, who the brother says is a literal snake. Okay, so first let's deal with the garden. Give me Mark 8:24 because we hear a lot about trees. So Mark 8:24, and then we're gonna really break down the trees. We're gonna go a little in depth.
Mark chapter 8 and verse 24.
So it says there's trees in the Garden of Eden. Let's see if they was talking about literal trees. What the trees are symbolic for.
Mark chapter 8 and verse 24. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking.
So it says, I see men as trees walking. So when we talk about trees in the Garden of Eden, we're not talking about literal trees. The trees are talking about people. How do we? I'm gonna prove that. Let's go. Let's go to Ezekiel 31 and 5. Watch this. Cut. We're gonna go precept galore in a second.
Ezekiel chapter 31 and verse 5. Ezekiel chapter 31 and verse 5. Therefore,
hold on. Let me get there. Let me make sure I want to start right there. Yes, sir. Let's start at 2. No, 3.
Ezekiel chapter 31 and verse 3. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches.
Right now, this here, it's talking about the Assyrian is really talking about, this is a metaphor. It's talking about Adam and in that Garden of Eden. Now, the cedar is a tree. It says, behold, the Assyrian was a certain cedar in Lebanon with fair branches. All right, beautiful tree. Now I ain't never heard nobody say this. I'm gonna let it speak for itself. Watch this. I'm gonna show you that this tree that it's talking about is not talking about a literal tree. Read on.
And with a shadowing shrub, and of a high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs.
Thick boughs, like thick branches. So this was basically, this tree was better than every other tree. AKA this person was better than every other person that was in that particular garden. Go ahead.
The waters made him great. The deep set him up on high with her rivers running round about his plant.
Right, meaning that's why this tree flourished so mother effing good, because it was sat next to the water. You put a tree next to the water, that's going to be one of the biggest and healthiest trees you can get, because it got all the necessities and needs.
Yeah.
Watch this. Read on.
And sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field.
Right, meaning this tree was greater than every other tree on the field. This is not talking about a literal tree. Watch this. Read on.
Therefore, his height was exalted above all the trees of the field.
Right, this tree was better than every other tree. What made the tree better than every other tree? When the Most High chose that particular tree to breathe life into it. Watch this.
And his boughs were multiplied.
Go ahead.
And his branches became long because of the multitude of water.
Mm-hmm.
When he shot forth, and the fowls of heaven made their nest in his bow.
Watch this.
And under his branches there all the beasts of the field bring forth their young. And under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
Hold on, dwelt what?
All great nations.
So now we see that the trees was never goddamn trees. It was only a metaphor talking about the nations. It was many nations in the Garden of Eden, but this particular nation, this particular man, the nation he gonna bring forth is going to be better than every other last one of y'all. Why? Because I chose this man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we reading. Now, this verse here is the explaining of the trees and everything that was in the midst of the garden. It explains it to you that they were just nations. That's all it was talking about. So now, when it says don't eat of the trees, now you can understand. Well, you ain't gonna. It's not literally talking about eating them. It's talking about learning. The Bible, when it says eat something, it's most time it's talking about learning. Well, what was it that this person learned? She learned something of the other nations and something that she wasn't supposed to learn. And when she learned it, she took it to her husband, and they both practiced in it, qualifying whatever she learned to be. What was the sin she committed? Wisdom of Solomon. Verse 12. Wisdom of Solomon 14:12.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 12. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Go ahead.
For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
All right, so now jump over. I'm going to show you something. Here's the verse that you're going to need as your cut to show exactly what was the first sin committed through Eve, which is Wisdom of Solomon 14:27.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 27. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
Hold on, read it again. For
the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
So the sin, the thing that Eve dabbled into and Adam also joined in was what?
Worshiping of idols.
Idolatry, basically.
Yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon. Okay. All right. So now we get the sin. We went through there to prove something. Let's go to oh yeah, let me explain this real quick. So he said that Adam and Eve was the only ones created. We proved that was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said that we all come from Adam and Eve. Now, this is where I'm gonna explain it to make so you can have the understanding of why it makes sense. But y'all literally take it and just think that Christianity just think, oh, it just dropped off, everything went Adam and Eve created, press play, go. That's how they think, not understanding the theory of why everyone would come from Adam and Eve today. Now, the Most High at the beginning, we discovered already he created a whole bunch of people. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just Adam and Eve. He created a whole bunch of people, right? All right. So now, who is Noah? Noah is Adam's grandson. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now, when the Lord flooded earth, he destroyed everything that was on the earth. That means all the people he created before Adam and Eve, they children, all that he created, he destroyed everything. Why? Because the only people who survived the flood was who?
No.
Right. So if it's Noah and his sons and their wife, and the law was that they could only marry who? Let's prove it. Let's go to Tobit 2. What I said 2. Tobit. What 4? It's logic. Yeah. Let's prove. Let's just show who Noah married.
You got something to go ahead.
Tobit chapter 4 and verse 12. Tobit chapter 4 and verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife.
So that's the law, that you have to take a wife of your father's tribe. Go ahead, watch this.
And take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred.
So our fathers from the beginning married what?
Wives of their own kindred.
Bingo. That's all we needed. So now, with that being said, we proved that they married what? People that also came from who? Bingo. All right, Adam and Eve. Right. So now, let's do it like this. You got 1 million people created at once, right?
Right.
And out of them people, the Most High chose this person and his children. Okay. But eventually the Most High got pissed off and said, I'm going to destroy everything. Everybody, I don't care. And then he said, you know what? Before I destroy everything, ain't you his grandson? Yeah, I want you and your kids to build an ark, go in. I'm going to make sure y'all survive the flood, but everybody else going to die. Well, if that's the case, then who does everybody come from? You come from Adam and Eve. Why? Because their kids are the only ones who survived the flood. So that's why it makes sense. You just the idiot to think that the Most High put Adam and Eve here and press play. You don't understand that it was a flood that came that wiped out everybody that was before. I hope it makes sense now. So with that being said, now let's prove the snake theory. You had something you wanted, or you was? Because I heard you say it's cold. It's cold. Let's go get it now. Let's get it. Genesis chapter 3. What was that? 14? That he pulled? Oh yeah, 14 here.
Yeah, 14 here. Go there.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 14.
Hold on. Let's get his points again. So that way it looks like it's been handled properly. All right, so he wanted Genesis chapter 3. First verse he put was verse 1. Genesis 3 and 1.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God hath made. And he said unto the woman, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
All right, so it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. I just want to make sure I explained that, because he made sure I knew it was a beast, meaning it's an animal.
Gotcha.
Now let's go to the punishment of the animal. Genesis 3:14.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
Y'all are cursed above all cattle, showing that there is once again a animal.
And above every beast.
And above every beast, again, showing even damn sure it's got to be an animal now.
Of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go.
White people don't walk on their belly, so it's got to be a beast.
And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
And white folks don't eat dust, at least to my knowledge, as a delectable. But when he said it, the way he put it out there, it sounds like a snake. It does. I'm not gonna lie. And to be honest with you, I can't even debunk him. He must be crazy. Like he must be crazy. Is you serious? You gonna try Commander Judea with that shit? Is you serious? This ain't no goddamn snake. Now you seen a snake talk. This ain't no goddamn snake. Let me show you the precept. Let me show you the precept, man. You told my ass up, boy. Get Ezekiel. So once again, this is a metaphor of the Most High calling somebody and basically the characteristics of the person. That's what he labeled them as. You know what I'm saying? The characteristics of the person, he labeled them that. We speak that today in metaphor. We call the police pigs. We call snitches rats. You call somebody you can't trust a snake. So watch this. Oh yeah, what they call brothers who what we say it all the time. Nigga, I'm a beast.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a fact, I'm gonna show you a scripture real quick. I know I'm digressing, but I get so happy sometimes. let's go somewhere real quick. Let's go somewhere. Let's go to what was it? I think Psalms. Oh God, I forgot where is that. I get so happy. I forgot where it's at. And I didn't jot it. So let's move on. Anywho, what we was going to do, I was going to show y'all something where the scripture was going to tell you how you could be, how men is beastly. But let's go anyways. We just use the metaphor. Let's get what I called first time. Let's go to Ezekiel. The hell was that? 34:8.
Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse 8. Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse 8. As I live, saith the Lord God, surely because my flock became
My who?
My flock.
My flock. Now, what the hell do you call a flock? That's a flock of birds, a flock of cattle, a flock of sheep. Which this what the Most High refers to Israel all the time is what? Sheep. He says because my flock what?
Become a prey.
They became what?
A prey. And my flock became meat to every beast of the field.
Ooh, my flock became a beast. My flock became a meat to every beast of the field. You don't understand that, do you? How did you become how did the children become? Let me get my mouth clear. Read the verse again.
As I live, saith the Lord God, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field.
Said my flock became beast to every. My flock became meat to every beast of the field. Now, what does it mean? To be meat to every beast of the field means they must be eating you. Eating you means what? To devour you. We were devoured by every nation. We became meat. Where does it say that? This is a slap to the brothers who want to make everybody Israel. Let's go right here real quick. Now you understand something. Go to Jeremiah chapter 12. Jeremiah chapter 12, and let's get verse 9.
Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 9. Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 9. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird.
Now, heritage unto me is a speckled bird. Now, once again, Most High heritage is Israel. Did he not just call us birds again, referred to us as a metaphor, as a animal?
Right.
So guess what? Now you know what's crazy about this? He referred you to a bird. What's one of the animals that loves to eat birds? Oh, shit. You cooking with grease here. So watch this. Now watch what he gonna say about this beast. I mean this bird. He said, my heritage has become a speckled bird. What's around the speckled bird? Read on.
The birds round about are against her.
The birds round about are against her, or the nations are against her. Go ahead.
Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field.
And do what?
Come to devour.
What?
Come to devour.
So go back to where we was at.
All right. Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse 8. As I live, saith the Lord God, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock.
Right, now that's going into God's laws and stuff like that. But here what we went here clearly to show what that this flock was being eaten by what? Beast of the field.
Yep.
It's about that same beast that devoured Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
He was living on his own.
Oh, that motherfucker. That's who we talking about. The one that deceived Eve. He was and his people today still devour our people with their lies. Oh, snap. Okay. Brother, give it up, man. There ain't no damn snake in Genesis, man. Now we go ahead and get the close out. Get Revelations.
Murder.
I haven't declared. I got another situation coming up there. And I'll leave it up to y'all. We can talk more about it off camera, but you got a situation where there's a lot of I guess challenging going out.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few brothers that's coming from my head, but for the most part, nobody wants to set it up and go. But like we spoke previously, they want to debate. They just don't want to debate me. They want one of y'all. So I have to go to the drawing board and figure out. Revelations 12 verse 9.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out.
Now, here's the point. And the great dragon was cast out. Read on.
That old serpent.
Hold on, who?
That old serpent.
Now the scripture says that the dragon was cast out, the old serpent. Now here's the point. This is where Negroes, this is where they always bite their tongue at. When I read this, I say, is this a literal dragon? Now they know dragons don't exist. So they'll say, no, that ain't a literal dragon. But hold up. This dragon is the same old serpent. Bingo. Now, everybody in here, does y'all Bible got little footnotes at the bottom of it, the verses? No?
Yeah, mine got verses.
Tell me which verses do yours say? Stop. What yours say? Stop. What yours say?
Genesis 3:1.
And mine say the same thing. So guess what that means? It's letting you know that this was direct reference. It's talking about the same as that serpent that it was talking about in Genesis 3:1. So if the snake was literal, then why the hell isn't the dragon literal now? Oh, snap. It ain't a dragon now. It ain't a literal dragon now because that will make your argument look foolish. Right. So now that we get to Revelations, the serpent was real, but all of a sudden it became imaginary in Revelations. You have been destroyed, brother. You did a terrible job. I just want to say it. You got your ass whooped. You had a good question though, but you had an ass whooping. All right. So, Lord's will, we can set up the debate, and I can actually give you the 2-on-1, and then we'll figure out what we got to talk about when we get out of here. Any questions from the week? Any concerns? I'm doing a long run in because I'm done. I know me and John, it was like 7 something when I called him. We went over a lot of precepts and stuff over the phone. So
What is Michael 2:9 talking about?
Micah chapter 2 and verse 9. Micah chapter 2 and verse 9. The woman of my people have ye cast out from their pleasant houses. From their children have ye taken away my glory forever.
go ahead.
Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. You read?
Is it talking about the time we went into captivity?
This basically with the Prince's cruelty. Go to I have to go up. Yeah, we got time. Let's read into it. Start at verse 4.
All right. Micah chapter 2 and verse 4. In that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people. How have he removed it from me? Turning away, he have divided our fields. Therefore, thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord. Prophesy ye not, say they to them that prophesy. They shall not prophesy to them that they shall not take shame. O thou art named the house of Jacob. Is the spirit of the Lord straitened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely, as man averse from war. The woman of my people have ye cast out from their pleasant houses. From their children have ye taken away my glory forever. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink, he shall even be the prophet of this people.
All right. So when we read it, what you get a context, what you think it's talking about now?
Sound like they still in captivity, and at this time it sounded like when our women were snatching out the house and taking away the kids and teaching them lies.
No, he that prophesied lies and falsehood, that's just going into false prophets. False prophets, other nations. And basically that covers all, because you can only do two. You have a false prophets, and you got other nations with who the Bible said that what they had no business touching and teaching His word.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here you got captivity going on, and then you also got the fact that Israel was walking in foolishness. They were walking in sin. So the Most High. That's why when you read here, it says, what was it at? Did they walk rightly? Just, O thou that art named the house of Jacob, is the spirit of the Lord straightened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? Basically, we wasn't walking rightly. The priest was going off at this damn time and everything. The priest was. So it's basically going into the conditions of a turnout. And then, of course, you know, this ain't your land of rest. I forget the precept to go to for that. But this not your land of rest. Our land of rest is not here in America.
Mm-hmm.
This is the land of your enemy.
So when 3 and 12 is basically our destruction at the time going through captivity.
3 and 12.
Yeah, Micah 3 and 12.
Micah chapter 3 and verse 12. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest.
What is that time? What are you talking about?
That's basically our destruction. Not like us being destroyed completely, but like a punishment.
No, read verse read verse 9 and down.
All right, Micah chapter 3 and verse 9. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity.
Mm-hmm.
They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity.
Mm-hmm.
The heads thereof judge for reward.
Now remember, they talking about this is going into the Levites was fucking being wicked as hell. Remember, they were beating people up and everything. If you go back to the, if you go back, they were beating people up and had people scared to bring offerings and stuff.
For real.
Yeah, they was wilding the fuck out.
They was taking extra meat up out the pot.
Yep, they were wilding the fuck out. So that's what this whole verse was going into, like how this. Read on, watch this.
The heads thereof judge for reward.
The heads thereof judge for what?
Reward.
So they wasn't judging righteously anymore. They was judging for rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this.
And the priests thereof teach for hire.
Meaning what? They were teaching for money. Going to, so now you kind of get the context of what the chapter is talking about, how goddamn wicked the priest had them became.
Mm-hmm.
So he said they judge for reward, so you could buy a unjust judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones
hire.
that was teaching for hire. Same thing as your Christian churches now.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the Israelite camps. Don't get it twisted. Go ahead.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
It's telling you, they was all about $1. They was all about $1. That's what it's saying.
Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us?
Yeah. So it's going into how they basically you would think that the heathens did the destruction, but it's talking about how the Levites or how the priests, their wickedness, how destructive their wickedness was to us.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's going into their wickednesses.
They were tricking people and trying to use the Lord, talking about it's not the Lord among us.
They were whooping, bro. The sons of what's name were whooping people ass, bro.
I know who's son you're talking about. Them motherfuckers, they was all in that woman before they could come into that door.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they call them. It says that the divines here was talking about this teaching for money. They teaching for hire. They was giving judgments for rewards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the precept? I go to Isaiah. This is a precept I normally go to show just how the most just basically they was being greedy as fuck. Isaiah 56 and 10. And y'all know some people like this. So you gotta pull this on them too. Just tell them courtesy of Judea. The most High just played.
You said 56 and 10?
Yeah, start it there.
Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 10. Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs.
Dumbass dogs. Go ahead.
They cannot bark.
I mean, what does the barking do? They signed off an alarm. It alerts you that danger or something's coming. These prophets could not do it. They can't do it. So just like Sunday church, come on.
Sleeping.
They doing what?
Sleeping.
Supposed to be watching and you sleeping.
Lying down.
Go ahead.
loving to slumber.
All you want to do is slumber. But one thing they don't do sleep on is taking your goddamn money.
Right.
Reading this verse.
Yeah. They are greedy dogs.
They what?
Greedy dogs.
That's what the Most High said. Just like when we read over there in Micah, how they was taking people money for rewards and hire. They greedy dogs. That's what the Bible called them. And guess what? Your Sunday church today, your pastor, he's a greedy dog. So some of y'all know people like that. They greedy as hell. Greedy dogs. You know what I'm saying? They can never have enough. They want your money. They want this one. Give them the scripture. Let them know you're a greedy dog.
Christianity got to be out of his damn mind. Try to act like most I don't say stuff like this. First he said dumb dog. Then he said greedy dog. But if you read that, they're gonna try to tell you he about love.
Right. Most I just called him eating it as hell.
Right.
He said, first of all, you're blind. Now that's disrespectful to you. You got eyes to see, but you blind. Then he says that you're ignorant as hell. then turn around and just say, you know what, fuck it, you're dumb.
You're a dumb dog. Like that.
He said, all you want to do is lay around sleeping and slumbering.
You ain't got no bark.
Then he said, what? Yay, they are what?
Yeah, they are greedy dogs.
We on?
Which can never have enough.
Whoa, I know people like that. You can never give them, no matter what you give them, it's never enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain.
Right.
From his quarter.
Telling you exactly what. Same thing that the priest was doing at that time. They were only looking for their own reward. Yeah, they probably were taking bids. Now you gonna get this one. No, I'm gonna get this one. Let me get this one. You get this one. Man, come on, man. They got all the good cattle. They got the good. Why you always get the good ones? Man, come on. You gotta break that down. No, man, break it in half. Listen, God ain't gonna forgive you unless you give us this. And I'm not sending up the prayers unless you give us this. Well, I only got this much. Well, didn't I tell you had this much next time you come up here to sacrifice? But I only got this much. No, hell no. You ain't gonna get out of here with that. Beat the man up. Yeah, people scared to come to the temple. And still, take your money. They were doing so much that when Christ came on the scene, he had to go in there and tear their asses up.
Yeah.
Damn. I got a question.
What's the question?
Say, can you read Psalms 127? I think I know what 3 and 5 is talking about, but can you break down 1 and 2?
I'm gonna say I don't know.
All right. So Psalms chapter 127 and verse 1. Except the Lord build the house, thy labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain.
Okay. Easy to be explained. Read verse 1 again.
Verse 1. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it.
Right. If the Lord didn't establish this and you built it, it's in vain. You built it in vain. You know what I'm saying? And then also, if you just want to go straight all the way out to it, if the Most High hand is not involved, your building will never work anyways. You just be working forever in vain. It'll never get completed.
Gotcha.
Or you'll build it and the next day it'll fall. Basically saying that the Most High, it's all in the Most High's will. That's why he said you can't build a Most High hand a house. How you gonna build a house for the Most High? Does not his hands create everything?
Right.
And so you can't build a house for the Most High. Basically saying if he's not involved, everything you're doing is in vain.
Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain.
Yeah, because the watchman, he can wake up. Watchman is man sitting there watching for trouble, dangers, intruders, everything. He can wake up and watch all goddamn day long. But he watching in vain, once again, if the Most High hand ain't involved. Why? Well, watching don't mean a damn thing.
Right.
It don't mean a damn thing if the Most High is not involved.
Verse 2. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. I'm
trying to see why they're saying this right quick. Get something for me. Side note, it's not pertaining to what we just read.
Mhm.
I don't think. I just want to see what it's saying. Why is it there? What verse we just read?
Verse 2.
Of what? Psalms?
Yeah, 127.
Yeah. Look at 3 and 17 real quick.
Yeah, Genesis.
Mhm.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 17. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
Okay, hold on.
Say 19 too.
Hold on. What you talking about?
Shit, mine say 19 too. 3:17 didn't say 19. Oh, hold up. Yeah, right there.
19. It sounds like it's going into labors. Go read it.
Yeah. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
Okay, so now we go back to Psalms 27, verse 2. Read it again.
Psalm chapter 127 and verse 2. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep.
For so he giveth his beloved sleep. It is a vain thing to rise up early and sit up late. For so he giveth his beloved sleep. Think about it. It's a vain thing to rise up early and sit up late. Therefore, he giveth sleep. It's called a balance. You don't get it?
No.
It's a balance. You rise up early as hell and you stay up late as hell. He created sleep. In other words, there's a goddamn period that you're missing. There's supposed to be some sleep in between the, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. I'm missing the period.
And then it says to eat the bread, right? Eat the bread of sorrow.
Yeah.
That part is throwing me off because I know what it means, but I can't figure out the words to say it. To put it out.
To eat the bread of sorrows.
Once again, when you read in Genesis, it's letting you know what's the
about the bread,
about you eating in the sweat of your face. So it means what? You're working hard. Mm-hmm. You're working hard to eat bread, and then you don't sleep. It's a vain thing.
Your food gonna be your tears.
I'm just putting in what you said, but how people working and don't even get to eat or partake in the meals that they're providing.
Now it says to eat the bread of sorrow, so for so he give it. Well, I mean, you could use that.
I feel like this is somebody saying that, I think that's the wrong thing about how you gotta know this extra word from the sweat of your face. You ain't gotta
to eat the bread of sorrows. that hard work, that hard labor, right. And then on top of that, it's a vain thing. You don't sleep. Mm-hmm. You rise up early as hell to do what? Labor all day for what? Bread to eat. Right. And then there's no sleep. That's a vain thing. And it's kind of crazy because I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it without using this so you can kind of grasp where I'm going, but I can't think of a way to explain it. Any other questions? Let's move forward because I don't want to leave these loops.
Yeah. Could you explain the second half of Sirach 30 and 24? Let's see. Sirach chapter 30 and verse 24. Well, I think Sirach chapter 30 and verse 24. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Carefulness equals worry.
Oh, worry. Okay. Then never mind. That was simple.
Worry bringeth bringeth age before time. I mean, and have your ass looking old. And they can see
Stressing about
the
everything.
yeah. If you see the stress, you ever seen some people you just. I've seen people when I walk past, like, damn, you can tell he be stressing a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's talking about. It's aging. It's starting showing their body and their face. Some people, believe it or not, it don't necessarily have to show on your face. Your body start breaking down on you. And people that's always stressing, that's I gotta take this medicine for my heart, and I gotta take this, and all that's coming from stressing all the time, worrying all the time. You're killing yourself.
What was it? Sirach chapter 36 and 19. Sirach chapter 36 and verse 19. As the palate,
Basically.
all right, as the palate tasteth diverse kinds of venison, so doth an heart of understanding false speeches.
All right. Simply said, as the palate tasted diverse kinds of venison, basically talking about how your tongue tastes different kinds of deer meats and stuff like that. So doth in heart of understanding, a heart understanding the speeches, false speeches. Meaning what? Just like your tongue can taste the different meats and it has a favorite, it's the same way a man of understanding can basically trap. What's another word? A man that understands can so does the heart of a man of understanding when it comes to false speeches. You can, like how you can taste the meat and know this is my favorite one. Kind of like when you're in the midst of a speech, the man of understanding can, I guess, how you he can get it. God damn it! I don't even know how to put it in words. False speeches. Basically, we say it today. When people be talking, I read that shit. You ain't talking about nothing. Basically, I wanted to put it in words where they can understand it. I hope y'all. Basically, like he's a man of understanding. So through conversations, he reads people.
Okay, gotcha.
So because he has that ability to read people, he can read false speeches.
All
right. I hope that's clear.
Yeah,
I couldn't think
I
of
get
what
it
it
now.
was.
All right, yep. That helps for me.
Cool.
Well, one more question.
Okay, I thought you was about to let me off the hook.
Can John 15 and 5 go with that? Without Christ, you can't do nothing.
Okay, you gotta say where we're going.
From Psalms 127, we read at the top, you can't accept without Christ. You can't build up it. Well, it said, except the Lord build a house, thy labor in vain, all of that. Can St. John 15 and 5 be a precept? The last line.
St. John 15 and 5. St. John chapter 15 and verse 5. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, ye cannot do nothing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you could. It's kind of like what I was telling you this morning. Like one of those situations where you could, if you explain it in, you can probably use it. You know what I'm saying? But you have to explain it the way that the way you seeing it. But as it being like a direct link, you wouldn't put it. You know what I'm saying? But you can you know what I'm saying? You can explain that in as long as you use that. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. He brought one to me this morning. I was like, that's not the direct precept, but you can actually use it. All right, no more questions?
Yeah, more questions.
All right, let's get them.
So this for people that's new and stuff like that.
People that's new.
Yeah.
Mm.
Question. How are we supposed to deal with brothers and sisters who are no longer in the truth?
Ooh. I'll give you a good one. I'll give you a good one. This is something that we should all try. Let's go to Galatians. No, not this one. Boy, it's gonna be hurting news to us brothers that's still in the truth. Galatians chapter 4. What the hell is that? There it is. 6:1. Galatians 6:1.
Galatians chapter 6 and verse 1. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such and one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted.
Bingo. So now let's explain this verse. How are we to deal with people that was in the truth that fell out? Read it again.
Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault,
I mean, he had an issue that came up and it overtook him. Go ahead.
Ye which are spiritual,
all of you that are spiritual,
restore such.
Hold on, what?
Restore,
meaning rebuild him. Try to win that brother back into the truth. Go ahead.
Such and one in the spirit of meekness.
You do it in meekness, though. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we go out there and we trying to let me hit it. Some people say, I'm trying to help the brother, but I ain't gonna sugarcoat him. I'm gonna get some blood raw. But your version of blood raw is rude, disrespectful, off steering. It turns people off. That ain't the way you're gonna restore somebody who's broken.
Some people, I think they use sugarcoat.
I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. You need to get your shit together, you stupid ass nigga. You let goddamn work. You know too much. That ain't gonna restore him. He's already broken. The scripture said to do it how?
In meekness.
It says restore that brother in meekness. Come on.
Considering thyself.
Why? Because you're gonna get so full of your goddamn self. You so full of yourself right now because you ain't going through whatever it is. You ain't got your moment. Remember, you're on your high horse again. And I hope the weather's nice up there. But you on your high horse and you feeling good and you ain't got no issues. So now you look at this brother, his fault, and you jump all over him and get down on him. And then you forget to try to restore him in meekness, not considering the fact, not considering yourself. Basically, what this verse is saying is if you got that spirit on you when that thing happens, what's gonna happen is because you didn't consider yourself, Most High is gonna bring that same shit upon you.
To take you down.
You're gonna be overtaken. You're gonna be overtaken in the fault. You gonna don't ever get beside yourself and start bashing people that fell out this truth. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean, because we do know that you have got to be a fool to lead the truth.
Yeah.
We do know that. Don't get me wrong. But try to restore the brother. Try to see if you can win them back into the truth. And after that, let them be.
Yeah.
Leave them be. Why? Because scripture says, observe the time when thou art around the wicked. So how did you deal with people that was in the truth and fell out? First, try to win them back into the truth. And if after that, leave them be. Cut them off. Because at that point, guess what? They become what? Go to Romans now. No, it ain't Romans. Second, right? 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. Yep. But there's one thing I really want. I want 17, but I want to get 14 first.
All right, so what? 2 Corinthians?
Yeah, 6 and 14, then jump down to 17.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
So scripture say, be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. Why? Because one thing about this truth, the Bible tells us that you could have never actually really believed and then leave and then say, I don't believe no more. What that's telling you is you never actually believed.
All right.
You cannot believe and then all of a sudden you don't believe. I mean, you thought you was there, but you still had your doubts. You still had things you didn't necessarily believe. You still had this you was dibbling with, that you was dabbling, all that type of stuff there. It don't just happen. You don't just fall out the truth. Scriptures tell you that.
Mhm.
That the scriptures tell you it's a process of time. Meaning what? You was dibbling with things, you were dabbling with things, you already had stuff going through your mind, you already doing stuff. And when you start participating in it, then your spirit starts to get pulled.
Yep.
And you out of there.
By your with your lust.
And the crazy thing is, I'm gonna show y'all a video real quick. I'm gonna tell you something. It's crazy how when people leave the truth, how fast you can see the world back in them.
Oh yeah.
How fast. I'm gonna show y'all this. Watch it. Look at this. Tell me the sister don't look like full blown. Oh damn. No, I didn't ask to play that. I'm gonna show y'all something. Tell me this sister don't look like she full blown back in the world. Where is it at? Here it is. You can see the demons on them.
Mm-hmm.
Now watch the next picture.
Mm-hmm.
Look how he moving, trying to be seductive and everything.
Yep.
Look at that. Anybody else want to see what I'm talking about? You see, this is what I'm saying. When people leave the world, when people leave the truth, it's amazing how fast you can see the world on them. Look at it. You can see the demons on them. What is this? Trying to seduce. This is the eyes. That's the thing about it. Most High saying being taken with her eyes. See how she twinkling and all that and moving all slow and got to be seductive with everything I'm doing now. Now watch this. I'm gonna let you see it too, so you can see it. Now watch how she moving and looking into the camera and all that. Next picture. When people leave the world, when people leave the truth, it's amazing how fast you see the world on them. It's amazing how you see the demons on them. And it don't take long. That's why the scriptures tell you what? Read it again, 2 Corinthians 6:14.
2 Corinthians.
And that's a sad, I'm telling y'all that's a sad story for me.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gotta see this, man.
2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Be not yoked with unbelievers. If this man done left the truth and he don't believe no more, leave him be. Because why? You're gonna be unequally yoked. Why? Because believe it or not, whether y'all believe it or not, you still have a little bit of love for that person. Though they left, you'll still have a little bit of love for them. And if you're around them, you're gonna find yourself you're gonna find yourself trimming your ways. Why? Because they're gonna be doing shit and you like, I'm gonna show you how powerful that is. What I'm saying. You wanna know how you know it's true? Because after we went and chilled with them for one day, you know how many of y'all came back to me and saying, "Man, she way like, nah, look at that, you doing this. Oh, everybody end up wearing pants, nobody head cover. Like you can just see it." Mm-hmm. And then when you look at it, you're like, working out, huh? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you working out. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go to what was we go get my scripture one more time? I know I'm going off. I know I'm going off topic.
Nah, go ahead.
Go Hosea 2:12. I gotta get it. Man. Scriptures tell you, boy, if you leave here the safe haven, you gone. You the hole you was before you came, you'll go back to.
Oh, see, 2 and 12.
Well, if you think about leaving, yeah, you be a hole in the next couple months. Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 2 and verse 12. Hosea chapter 2 and verse 12.
Hold on, that's not it.
What you do?
You said 2 and 12?
That's what is that what I said? Yeah. You know what I'm looking for, right? My favorite, yeah. I think so. Yep. I said 12, I meant 13.
All right, Hosea chapter 2 and verse 13. Hosea chapter 2 and verse 13. And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam.
Right.
Wherein she burned incense to them And she decked herself
Hold on, we can't blow past
Oh,
it.
yeah, my
Every
bad,
time
my
we
bad.
get here, we have to slow it down.
All right, let
You
me
know
go
what I'm saying?
back.
Because this second part here, we're gonna pick up where it says she decked herself.
All right.
All right. Now this part here, this is what we talk to all you you sisters who want to be married, who seeking to be involved with men so bad. I'm saying you been working out now. You been working out now. This guy thicker than I ever seen a woman in a week. Read the scripture. What does scripture say? What's the scripture say?
And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam.
You do what?
Visit upon her the days of Balaam.
Oh, that's crazy. Most High in Christ. He said, I will visit upon her what? The days of Balaam. Why?
Wherein she burned incense to them.
And then what happened?
And she decked herself with her earrings.
You got to put on my big loop earrings. I got to put on my earrings. Make sure I swing the hair so y'all see the earrings. Go ahead.
And her jewelry.
And who?
And her jewelry.
Got to be iced out. And what else?
And she went after her lover.
And she did what?
Went after her lover.
And
forgot, said the Lord.
Damn, that's y'all. I was in this truth. I was in this truth, goddammit. Daughter of Sarah. And all of a goddamn sudden, I had to go back to the world. I had to get me a nagger. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Scripture tell you straight up, man. Them naggers pull them out the truth. They say they don't care. Sister said, I gotta go get me a man. Yeah, boy, be proud. Don't be shameful.
Right.
Punishment, you're gonna get the same punishment. What's the point of trying to hide and lie and speak about it?
Right.
All right. Like I said, it is crazy how when somebody leave the truth, when they really leave, you can see how in no time the demons on them. Why is that? Because the demons was on you before you left. What is it telling you? You had already been dabbling in shit. Bingo. You know what I'm saying? the ship got tired. You know how you be sneaking doing something, and after a while you just get tired of sneaking to do it. You get agitated because like, in your head you like they trying to catch me. We don't even know you up to there.
Yeah, you gonna tell them yourself.
What you trying to say? I fucked yesterday.
Right. So the scripture say, "Be not unequally yoked with them," right? Because once again, you're gonna find yourself trimming your ways, and not only that, if you're around that person a lot, birds of feather flock together. You know what's gonna happen? Like if you hang around, let's say you hang around me before the big fallout and everything happened. Remember, I used to always tell the women, keep your head covered because scripture's gonna fly at any time. So if you hanging with somebody like that all the time, what's eventually gonna happen with you? Well, as a man, you're gonna eventually do what? You're gonna find yourself when you speak, you find yourself always ended up going into scriptures. Now, if you hanging with a hoe, eventually, what's gonna happen?
You're gonna start going into
You start doing what hoes do. It start little too. It start little. You don't even see it. First, you just chilling. Next thing you know, damn. When you start wearing big ass eyelashes. Oh dang! I used to hate makeup. Now you wear lipstick and everything. Girl, you better go find the rest of them sharps. Or in this case, damn, you wear pants again? Why? Oh, it make your ass look fatter. Oh, did I expose it? I better stop. I better stop before I get in trouble. Should I keep going or should I stop? Somebody gonna get mad at me.
Oh well.
Fuck it.
Straight up.
The scripture say. They gonna be mad at us. They gonna be mad at me, bro. You mad at me?
Ain't for the truth.
Proverbs. I'm gonna show you. I want to show y'all this other thing too, because I want to show you how when you come into the truth, you women who I gotta go get me a man. And, you know what I'm saying? I know you'll get fooled by a brother in Israel if you'll lead the truth to go get a brother. Mm-hmm. So now imagine what will happen if you run across certain brothers in Israel. It's this one brother in Israel right now. What's his name? It's like Cheyenne something, but they call him the Hebrew stick up, something like that. Hebrew stick up kid, some stick up, something like that. Now he's not running up sticking guns on people. No, what he's doing is he's going and deceiving all you desperate want to be married women. So what he's doing, and the brother's a sharp looking brother. He's a sharp looking brother. They sent me his profile and everything. He's a sharp looking brother, and he speaks as if he's he's so into the truth. But he going around tapping sisters in different camps and after that jumping up and leaving and changed his name. They got his profile all over Facebook now, pointing the brother out. So now you sisters who come in here, and the only thing you care about is a man. If you lead the truth, what I want to say is, basically what I'm saying is, some of you sisters might be stupid enough and think that you left the truth for a righteous man and don't know that the man that you're dealing with is the Israelite stick-up kid.
Right.
About 2 weeks, we get about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks, we'll have a story for you. Most High Christ. One thing about it. One thing you got to know, boy. The nation of Israel, Judea get around now. The words get back. I don't think you're gonna play around in the nation and ain't gonna get back to me. I'm gonna know. All right, get ready. I hope y'all holding it together because it's gonna be an ugly turnout here. So now let's go ahead and get it because the woman will seduce you as I showed y'all the video. Y'all saw it for yourself. That you can't tell me that look ain't to seduce somebody. Let's go to where's that I had Jeremiah?
I thought you wanted Proverbs.
I did.
Yeah, you said Proverbs, but you ain't said what.
I forgot where I was going.
Cool.
As a fact, we in Proverbs. Go back to Proverbs. I don't want to leave that. I asked to go there. I just don't know what I was going for. Check Proverbs 10. Let's see. Proverbs chapter. Is it 7? Yeah, 7 and 10.
7 and 10. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 10. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 10. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot.
Right. So notice how women lead the truth. Now, the scriptures say don't deceive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you how you know people deceive themselves when they left the truth. Because for one, they still tell themselves they in the truth. They still actually believe that they in the truth. And that nobody else can see that they not in the truth. This is how you deceive yourself to the max. Is any one of y'all in here confused that think that this sister might be in the truth a little bit?
Not at all.
Why in the hell can't the sister see it?
Because she got the blindfolds on.
So now, exactly what I said, you're deceiving yourself. You fooling yourself. How could you possibly still think you in the truth? What about your life can even remotely close resemble you being in the truth? Listen, the scripture say the sister met you wearing the attire of a harlot. Guess what? These sisters, when they leave the truth for real, you'll be like, damn, I thought you got rid of all your pants.
Mm-hmm.
How is it now you wear more pants than skirts? As a fact, you don't even wear skirts anymore. Just pants. And did I forget to mention the goddamn pants is tight?
No, you ain't got to forget that part.
The attire of a who?
The whole. A harlot. My bad.
Read it again.
Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 10. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house.
Go ahead.
Now is she without.
Now she without. Go ahead.
Now in the streets and lieth in wait at every corner.
Go ahead.
So she caught him and kissed him.
Oh shit.
And with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me.
I'm in the true shalom, most high in Christ bless.
This day have I paid my vow.
Ooh, I just need me a God-fearing man.
Therefore came I forth to meet thee.
I came out here to meet you.
Diligently to seek thy face.
Uh-oh.
And I have found thee.
Oh, she have found thee. Kind of like the woman who left the truth searching for love.
I have decked. Oh, shit, goddamn. I have decked my bed.
She did what?
She nasty. I have decked my bed.
Now, I'm gonna tell this the only part. This the only thing you gonna probably ever hear me say. You righteous women, take this advice from the hoes. Okay, this is what you're gonna read. Listen to what the hoes say now. And listen to what the hoe did, because you need to know this. It can save your marriage, I promise. Watch this. Read on.
I have decked my bed with coverings.
She did what?
Decked my beds with coverings.
Go ahead.
Of tapestry.
Oh, so she went and got very nice linen covers to put on top of the bed now.
Silky.
Go ahead.
With carved works. With fine linen of Egypt.
Ooh, so she went and got the best shit. Watch this.
I have perfumed my bed.
She did what?
God damn. I have perfumed my bed.
Some of y'all, I hate to go back in the world for a second, but I've had a sister ask me to come stay tonight. And I went and I flopped down on the bed and the odor of unwashed ass and piss came up. I want to sex. Man, listen.
I gotta go.
She said her bed. No, not when he flopped on the bed, he smelled. Can I say it?
Go ahead.
He smelled lick me all over. We need your bed to smell like lick me all over. Okay. Come on. Let's go.
I have perfumed my bed with myrrh.
Ooh, she beat it with that myrrh.
Aloes.
Oh shit.
And cinnamon.
She's not playing. She know I love cinnamon. She know that. She trying to the whole trying to steal you from your wife.
That's what it is.
Go ahead.
Come, let us take our fill of love until.
Okay, hold on, real quick. All right, so now that's what the part that y'all need. You righteous women, make sure y'all put that in your handy dandy notebook. Steal that from the hoe. Steal the good coverings and the lovely smells. Okay, steal that from her. Now back to the hoe. So now when we get back to the hoe, what does the hoe do after she go meet this brother?
Okay, here we go. Come, let us take our fill of love.
Oh, love. She said, take our fill of love. That's all that me faking in the truth them months. I got build up.
Right.
Take all this build up and lay it out in here tonight with you. No, we don't know each other like that.
Feel a love until the morning.
What? See, they're gonna be doing all types of
things.
Yeah, unlawful married things. Well,
that
sounds so like y'all forgive me. They're not doing unlawful things. You know what I'm saying? That married people should be doing. All right,
Yeah.
y'all forgive me. I hope y'all brothers ain't in the bedroom being unlawful married. All right. so we read here how the hoe does. I wanted to go here to show you that what the hoe was in the congregation, then the hoe went to the streets. and we said the hoe was searching for love, and when the hoe found it, the hoe had sex. And you know what happens when you have sex? Spirits entangled.
Well, they'll be going in.
I'm telling you, he gotta. I'm gonna get in trouble. Y'all done got me in trouble. Nigga, please.
Let us solace ourselves with love.
Do what?
Solace. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds solacing. Let us solace ourselves with love. For the good man is not at home.
Yeah.
Solace. I knew that. Let us solace.
I'm gonna say you selling something, brother. No, solace. It means to comfort you. They want to comfort themselves in love. Now get that. They say comfort each other in love.
How the hell y'all love each other already?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Because what's happening is the hoe is speaking with smooth words. Mm-hmm. That's what it's basically going to. That's why I said she sucked to her heart. She using smooth words. We gonna make, oh my God, let's just cover and comfort ourselves in loves until the morning rise because the good man isn't home. Now your dumb ass that missed the part that the good man ain't home. She telling you what? Nigga's a whole nigga that come home.
Boy.
Y'all brothers keep getting deceived by these damn beautiful witches.
Right. For the good man is not at home. He is gone a long journey.
Go to Timothy. Go to
no.
Timothy's now.
Timothy's first.
I gotta look at it. Go to Timothy's now, because now I got to you dumb ass simple sisters who don't seem to get it. It's brothers all in your inbox, and you let a brother be in your inbox pull you out the truth. What? I am. Let's get it.
2 Timothy chapter 3. Sorry, verse 6.
Matter of fact, we skipped all of it last time. Let's read it this time. Let's start at 1.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own self.
Mm-hmm. So lovers of their own self, dog, that shit is heavy because we oftentimes, like, y'all see people and you absolutely, sometimes you like, why do they do stuff like that? Mm-hmm. And you wonder, because that nigga he's a lover of himself. Like, he don't care about it. He don't have no sense of what he doing is like, it's messed up. Mm-hmm. When I don't know, people like that, you keep them from around me because they get their ass whooping. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be straight. Bible say don't be a striker, but don't be a goddamn instigator. So like, yeah. All right. All right, watch this. So in the last days, men should be what? Lovers of themselves.
I'm sorry. Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful.
Hold on, did it say disobedient to parents with an S?
Yep.
Parents.
Oh shit! I thought the number don't count.
Most High, he didn't make a man just like let the child fall out of the ball side.
You know, a lot of camps be saying that the mama don't matter. I'm just doing side notes. You just took it right out my head. So how the hell don't? Hey, so it don't matter what your mom. It don't matter what your mama is. Your daddy, as long as your daddy is something, your mama don't matter. You could be in it.
It's some of the
But damn,
it says
damn, under the mama you.
it say disobey your mother, your ass cursed.
I ain't want two daddies.
That means you could have got your wife pregnant and then kick her ass to the curb and kept the kids. Just say, if you think about it, deep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't matter. I want my wife.
Yeah, y'all, I just want sometimes when we be going through stuff, y'all might point little stuff. And I want y'all to remember that. You know what I'm saying? Your mama don't matter. Yes, it's all about your daddy. God damn, most high. If my mama don't matter, then why the hell I gotta honor her?
Right.
All right. Pick up what was that, Timothy?
Okay.
Disobedient to parents.
Disobedient to parents. Unthankful. Unholy. Without natural affection.
Without natural affection.
Truce breakers.
That's a lot today. You see that? You was quick to make a promise or a truce and break that shit. No regard.
Oh shit. False accusers.
They gonna do what?
False accusers.
Stop lying on people.
Yeah.
Always accusing motherfuckers lying ass. Go ahead.
Incontinent.
Go. Where you at?
It was still 3. Incontinent.
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's
Nah.
incontinent.
Incontinent.
Oh, so I said right. Incontinent. Fierce. Despisers of those that are good. Traitors.
They what? Despise of what?
Despisers of those that are good.
That's why they hate you, Adira. That's why they hate you, St. John, Solomon. You know what I'm saying? Judea, and then if you got some people hate you, you so. Oh, bingo. The hoes hit. I feel it. Now, just so y'all know, incontinent, it means what's the word? No control.
No control.
It means he lacks self-control, basically.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why you see so many shooters today. Niggas lack self-control. Go ahead.
All right. Traitors.
You see that a lot. Niggas are trade here. We talking about motherfuckers who traded on the Most High. Go ahead.
Heady. High-minded.
I'm high-minded. Most High hate that motherfucker. Give me let me see if I can find it off the top of my head real quick. Isaiah 65, I think. Let me see if I can find it off the top of my head.
People need to start looking at the definitions and know what stuff means. Because our brothers might think high-minded mean one thing. Open up that Bible dictionary and talking about straight myself. You got to change the definition. That's it. They may talk about me like that, huh?
I remember one part of Israel said, we don't use this part of the definition, we don't use this part.
Yeah, they do that.
Isaiah 65:5.
Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 5. Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 5. Which say, stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose.
Most High says, like, them people that think they holier than thou, they like smoke when it's like getting smoke in your nose. You know, like you ever for those who barbecue, you know, when you lift that grill up and all that smoke hits you like,
yeah,
and it burned like it stopped. All the air coming in, that shit stopped.
Irritate like a mother.
That shit burned like hell. You be trying to. I mean, once I tried to put goddamn water in my nose, it was burning so bad. Dog, when that shit happen, your mind go blank for a second. You like, that's why not. That's why you see me open the grill from behind and I go like this. I get up in your nose, that grill ain't no joke, man. That smoke hitting your nose. That's how I said. That's how the Most High feel about them. It's like, in other words, I just thought about that when I just did that. I don't know why. People like that make the Most High turn his head. Because when the smoke get in your face, what you do? I just thought of all right, let's go back.
Yeah, fire that burneth all that day.
Okay. All right, let's go back to what was that? He said they were what? High-minded. Go ahead.
High-minded, lovers of pleasures more.
Ooh, hold on. Read that shit again.
Traitors, heady, high-minded,
Go ahead.
lovers of pleasure.
What?
More than lovers of God.
There it is. I said she would. They would be lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. That's your answer for why niggas lead the truth. There it is, all in a nutshell. Because they are lovers of pleasures more than lovers of themselves. Just like the hoes that lead. They go chase these niggas, and that's what. The reason why you're not here, it is all about a man because you love the pleasures of having a man more than you do the Most High.
Right. That's the sister one time. I said that penis that good? So that made you drop everything. You don't give a F about nothing. Is that good?
He said it's men like that, having a form of godliness, denying the powers thereof, from such turn away. Why is he saying that? Why? Because another thing that I can tell you, sometimes all right, we'll give you hoes the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you hoes ain't always the aggressor. maybe the hoes ain't always aggressive. Maybe the hoes were just simple and got pulled out. You know what I'm saying? Some hoes, they just dumb. They got attention and then they left. They're naive. They first piece of attention they got is like, oh, it's here. Ah! Nigga, please, I gotta go get me a man. What's wrong with you? I can't do this Saturday shit all the time. I gotta get me a man. Right. So then that man, so why did that man come after her? It's a reason why that man came after her. Read verse 6.
For of this sort are they which creep into houses.
Now, when it says for this type of man, he'll do what?
Creep into houses.
And do what?
And lead captive silly women laden with sin.
Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something that a lot of people overlook. Do you know that this verse, when it's talking about creeping into a woman's house, how that man actually does it? It's talking about he's leading with his rod.
Right.
He leads with his rod.
Right.
That's how he crept into a house.
How else he gonna get in that one?
He crept into a house and basically ran game on you or whatever. And some of y'all, it ain't game because you just wanted it just as bad. You just needed an excuse to say why you did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know plenty of women like that. Girl, you know your whole ass was gonna sleep with him. I got drunk. I swear to God.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
The first time I seen you read this verse to a sister, she gonna tell me, yeah, because men love breaking in the house. I swear.
The script say what it say. He creep into the house of silly women. It ain't say he broke into a house.
Right. I said, this ain't nobody gonna break in your house and open your legs.
And if he did break in, you're probably like, hey, you taking it to you just gonna take the stuff, you ain't gonna stop and talk to me first.
Right.
Oh my God, you better not come in here and have sex with me. What would you say? Women do. We about to switch silences again, man. I'm gonna stop, man. We gotta switch subjects again. I was about to go into our goddamn women because I ain't seen a class about this yet. We gotta do a class. Remember we did the rated R class 1. That class up to 500 some views now. About the oral sex. The next class we can do is when your woman wants some. People in Israel ain't talking about it, but I damn sure will, and I got scripts for it. All right, but to close it out, what we gonna talk about when your woman wants something that don't pertain to you hoes. Right? So it says having a form of godliness. He crept into the house of silly women and lead them captive, and they were laden with sin. Meaning they were fully loaded with sin. Meaning what? That Negro, he could have shot his shot at anybody. It's a reason why he chose you. Mm-hmm. One, he saw you was dumb as hell, or two, he just saw the host. You know what? You probably posted one of them same videos. and all that shit. And he say,
Easy
"Oh,
target.
you see the lust in her eyes?"
Easy target.
He looking at the computer. The lust was so deep in your eyes. He started singing Pretty Rick. Oh my God, bro! You see the lust in her eyes? I know she can't hide it. The moment he saw that lust, he saw it. He was like, "Shalom, sister. Most High Christ bless." Shalom. How you doing, you beautiful queen of Israel? And here you go. I'm doing fine, king.
That'd be a slick brother. Oh, that picture came by accident.
You know what, sister? I've been watching your profile and God took me to you. God showed me that you was my wife. God showed me that. I believe it. God wants you to lead that congregation you with. You know what? I believe it because it ain't going nowhere. I gotta go. You're right. God is calling me to be with my man. He wants you to be with me. I gotta teach you. You can't learn from him because what he teaching you ain't what our household gonna be. We're gonna have kids and all this stuff. And you know what your dumb ass did? No, stop playing. Let me get out of here, man. I'm gonna get out of here. Shalom, Most High in Christ.
Shalom.